I don't want to do it like that. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Rodney Glove. I'm the candidate for governor for Florida. I'm non-party affiliated. I wanted to talk about my experience at the Arabic Community Alliance out in Templar, Florida yesterday. It was about 20 candidates. It was a question and answer type thing. What I saw when people started asking questions was that it seemed to me as if people were put in the audience for your specific campaign. Essentially, you told someone, hey, I need you to ask this question so that I can answer it, because that's the way that the things were asked. Each candidate got 2 minutes. So you have to consider that from the beginning, I was number two to get up and speak. There were 18 people after me. So to say that a person could key in on think on everything you had to say in 2 minutes after listening to the last person is pretty complicated. So nobody had any questions about accountability. Let me be clear. The exact thing that I'm running on, not a single person asked, hey, how do I hold you accountable to your word? What I saw from the audience was very disappointing. What I saw from the candidates was very disappointing. No one spoke on details. You guys know I'm Article 11, Section 3. I'm 193.155, which is the welcome stranger tax. I'm 100.361, which is this state's recall authority. You guys know I'm 1008.25. I'm 1008.22. I'm very detailed in the data. I had a young gentleman tell me, hey, when you start using those numbers, I'm done listening. I listened to a TED Talk, and TED Talk says that in 2 sentences, I should be able to understand everything that you said. And I said, that's exactly my problem with where we are today is you believe that you know everything that you need to know in 2 sentences. And that if I can't do that in 2 sentences, teach you everything I know and never use a single number. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how people are out here voting. And it was, to me, I could say, thank you for the invitation, but it was very eye opening in that setting. Typically, when I go to these, I get 30, 40 minutes to speak to the crowd, to kind of let them know, to kind of put this plan, build this momentum of understanding what I'm trying to do. But people honestly didn't want that. When I started talking to some of the community members of the Arabic American community one on one, they were all asking me specifically, hey, are you going to be someone who holds people accountable? Because that's what we need. So I asked the question. I said, listen, would you vote to hold people accountable? And every single person said yes. So then my next question was, then why do you keep voting for any representative that is not first pushing to be held accountable? Because anybody can tell you anything. But if every candidate is not pushing to be held accountable systematically on paper, then why on earth are you still voting for them? This was the gist of the open forum when you get to walk the floor. Beyond that, citizens were asking questions about Palestine because this was the Arabic community. So they wanted to ensure that you did announce Palestine. But I'm going to tell y'all something that I saw. I was invited by the Constitution Party. Here's my little shirt. A few weeks ago to their banquet. They had a lady there. I cannot remember her name. I think it was Cassette or La Cassette. Ladies and gentlemen, she gave a speech because she was the like main person speaking at this event. She gave a speech where she said, hey, I love everything that Trump's doing. Um, Everybody needs to get behind this administration. This administration is doing everything right. She was at this event tonight in front of that Arabic community, and I promise you, she did a complete 180. Her speech in front of these people was, I love the Palestinians and the Arabic community, and I'm sitting in my chair because it was very specific that candidates were not allowed to attack other candidates, because I'm sitting here like, lady, just literally a few weeks ago at this banquet, these people who would not have even invited you, you get in front of them and you say something completely different. It was my first time experiencing this on this candidate trail live. And I'm here to tell you, if we don't get control of these people who have no problem lying based on the room they are in, if you can't control this, you're going to vote in the wrong people. So I'm here to tell you again, and this is serious. If your candidate is not telling you their number one issue is ensuring that you can hold them accountable by the rules, do not vote for them. And you need to really start asking yourselves, what and why do I keep voting for someone I cannot hold accountable? I had a conversation with some younger people, and they were more concerned. I said, "Hey, what's your concern?" They said, "Well, affordability." I said, "Well, did you know that this state, because you're renters?" They're like, "Yeah, and it's super, super expensive." I said, "This state already passed Senate Bill 102. They said they would never address rent control in this state. But some of these candidates up here are talking about affordability, but none of them are telling you the things that are affecting your affordability." So one of the young ladies, she said, "Well, what about even if I support it, I don't think the state would." I said, "Why are you worrying about a county in an area you don't live in? Networking, it will ring out. Can you get the people who you work with, the people who you know, to agree that you need to be able to hold those people accountable so you can address the problems that address you? If you can't do that, if your circle, let your circle start to expand when it comes to the things that you want. We got to get this right this time." I told them the older generation messed this up. This generation is messing this up because you are not wanting to hold them accountable. Get the accountability, ladies and gentlemen. Glover2026.com. You better figure out seriously. If you're not gonna support, then tell every citizen why. Tell them that you would rather not have any way to hold these lying people accountable, because it just frustrated me. But thank you very much. You guys have a good morning.